done. Next project. This boat, these boats, you're supposed to circulate water through them. This is a water-cooled engine, 4-stroke, 2018, 90 horsepower Yamaha. The water is supposed to come up through from down here and go all up in various parts of the motor to cool things, and then eventually run out right here. This one is not doing that. So I've taken all these lines loose and I've followed that line up to the top of that, and then down out of the bottom of that, which I think is where it comes out at. And there's also a section of this that goes up in there. The long and the short of it is all these lines are clear, but there's still no water coming out. So I went online and looked, and there's a guy on there that's got one similar to this that tells how to take the foot off and change the water pump, and that's what I'm going to do. According to him, you start right here. Should be a 12mm bolt you take out of there, and then you take one from out of here, and then you got a couple on each side. This whole foot falls down. There's one little hose here that the water travels up through, and I hadn't thought about it, but I wonder what would happen if I disconnected that hose right there, because he said it disconnects right there, and seeing if it was clear from there up. That might save me from taking the foot off. Maybe I should do that first. I might do that first. I'll get back to y'all on that and let you know. So one of the things that's always nice to know when you're putting a water pump in a boat is which water pump to use. My boat is a 2018 Yamaha 90 horsepower. Now I went and bought a impeller, and the first one I bought was too small. This is the one that came out of it, and this is the one that goes back into it. And it is I think you can read that right there, 6E5-44352-01. The guy there said that there's two different Yamaha setups for this engine. This one is listed as an F90, but he said normally one like mine would be listed, I believe he said, as a VF90, and the VF90 like mine has a larger shaft than the other one, which had the smaller impeller. I hope that helps. I'll also put up a picture of the smaller one with the number on it so you can see it. What I'm going to be doing now, let me talk a little bit about this. If you look inside of here, and this might be a place where I need to set my phone up on a tripod so I can show you what getting this thing off was I won't call it a nightmare, but it was pretty close to a nightmare. This is the old impeller. It had above here, it had two little thin metal rings that sat right there. There's the other one. It had a piece of nylon that sat on top of that, and then it had this little cup or cap that sat on top of that. Now, that did not come off easily. I wound up using a tool I have that I built to adjust valves with on a Chevrolet engine, or to squeeze the valve springs down to change the seals in it. And I had to get this tool up underneath that and take a hammer and tap that pretty forcefully to get that off. And in the process of doing that, I messed up this nylon ring. But the guy at the boat shop said, don't worry about that, that won't be a problem. So I'm not going to worry about that, but y'all be aware of that when you go to take one of those off. And you might say, well, how do I get that off? Well, I tried taking a screwdriver and coming up under the edge of this thing and driving it off, and that wasn't working well at all. This worked pretty well. What I did was I took the big head of a screwdriver and set it up here and put this on it like that, and then hammered it like that to get it off. Of course, what I'm talking about would be up here. So luckily I was able to get my engine kind of balanced up on this thing here so that I could work on it, because it took quite a lot of force to get that to work out. So now I'm going to clean this up, and this has some melted rubber that's gotten inside of it. Now I've got to clean all that out. I got to clean up that part up there I just showed you. See, inside here, this stuff is actually the old impeller that's melted inside of here. Inside of here. And there's a rubber ring right here, and it's actually been flattened out and burned a little bit over here. Actually, that may not be the rubber ring that's burned. That may be some of the old propeller material, I think. I've got a lot of cleaning up to do here. Anyway, all this got to be cleaned out. All that's got to be cleaned out. There needs to be a clear passageway that goes up into here, and that's